Hi guys, welcome to Brass Bootcamp. In today's video I'm going to be going through week 3 of my intermediate technique calendar. I'll try and be brief and not repeat myself, but if you've not seen my other 2 videos, a lot of the same things apply. Generally we're after evenness in tone, evenness in tonguing, nice coordination between our tonguing and our fingers, and nice accurate playing throughout all the exercises. So let's get started. Monday's exercises on page 15 of the Arban, exercises 20 and 21. Again, lots of crotchets, nice clear tonguing. These ones actually go up relatively high, up to high A's, so nice fast airstream, nice T position. You'll find if you tongue your higher notes slightly harder, it might help them pop out a little, but not too harsh. We're after that even tone, aren't we, throughout the piece. So again, you carry on all the way through that exercise, making sure it's nice and accurate. Breathe whenever you need to, practice it slowly, use your metronome and gradually increase the speed until you're happy. If you can get through the whole exercise in one breath, then that'll be absolutely brilliant. Exercise 21, same things apply. There's no sharps or flats in this one. Exercise 20 had B flats, so watch out for that one. 21, no sharps or flats. Again, try and increase the speed of this exercise whilst maintaining the accuracy so you can get all the way through in one breath. So 1 or 2 little splits there, but all the way through in one breath. If I'd have maybe blown a little bit louder, kept my airflow even smoother, then those 1 or 2 little gremlins would have not been there. So Tuesday's exercises, this is where it starts departing from the same patterns as the previous weeks. So on page 39, exercises 1 and 2. Still working on our slurs, but in a different pattern to the previous weeks. You can see the articulation markings and the dynamic markings, so we're after really nice airflow, push through that slur with the crescendo to the second note and the diminuendo. They don't have to be massive dynamic changes, but it really helps you push the air through the slurred notes, and then we've got the staccato note at the end of each bar. So here's a bit of exercise number 1. So we've started introducing some accidentals into these pieces. We've got D sharps, second valve, and C sharps are 1 and 2 at the top. The G sharp is written in, so that's 2 and 3. And then we've got an A sharp near the end of the line, which is the same as B flat, which is first valve. The exercises carries on, more of the same thing. If you need to write in your sharps or flats or accidentals, then just write it underneath with a pencil. If I've missed any of the sharps or flats, then at the beginning of the Arban, there's a full list of all the notes and what fingers they are. You can refer to that if you need to. Number 2, same sort of pattern, but instead of slurring down and up, we're slurring up and down. So again, try and do your dynamics, make sure your tonguing and accuracy is there, make sure your slurring is in the right place. Watch out for your F sharp in your key signature, and watch out for your accidentals. Wednesday's exercises are on page 66, and now we're in 4 flats in our key signature, so B, E, A and D flats. So hopefully you've been working through, and should only be adding 1 new note to the scales we've practiced in our previous weeks. If you were happy with your 3 flats, then the note you need to really focus on is your D flats. So 1 and 2 for the high one and all 3 for the low one. The pattern that we used in our E flat major, the one with 3 flats, our E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, that pattern is still in here, but the only pattern that's changed is the one involving first valve and second valve swapping over. Because we've got our D flats, it's now that pattern with our D flats on 1 and 2. Likewise, our low part of the scale, C, D flat to E flat, to F. Again, that's relatively awkward because it involves that third finger again. So I'll whiz through a couple of these exercises. It's 36 and 37. Nice, crisp, short staccato tonguing. Nice even range between the high, middle and low. Good taut T tongue position and nice coordination between our tonguing and our valves, making sure all the higher notes are slightly louder than all the lower notes. So again, nice and even, nice and crisp. Number 37. All the same things that we talked about in the previous week's apply here. Fingers follow tongue, short tonguing, even tone throughout the range. So Thursday, page 42 again. We've doubled the rhythm again into quavers this time. Again, if you can't quite double the speed of these rhythms, then use your metronome, go half a step up and increase the speed gradually. Same thing as applies to the other ones. The alternative fingers are written in. Each bar is on the same set of fingering this time. Again, we're after really smooth transitions, smooth even tone, and we're not using too much air, we're not using too much tongue position. Those things are nicely balanced to get the nice smooth flowing effect. So this is number 18. If you need to stop halfway through and take a nice breath, that's absolutely fine in these exercises, because again, your breathing is one of the things this exercise is working on. So if you need to stop halfway through, take a nice big breath, start from where you finished off, complete the exercise, as long as it's nice and accurate and smooth. If you increase the speed to the point where you can get through the whole exercise in one breath, then that's absolutely great. But at this stage, I think breathing 2 or 3 times in that exercise is absolutely fine. So Friday's exercises, back to sharps in our scales. We've got 4 sharps. You might think, why have we not done 2 sharps and 3 sharps? Actually, the key signature with 4 sharps in, I think, is one of the easiest key signatures to play in. The pattern of the valves in E major with 4 sharps, so F sharp, C sharp, G sharp and D sharp, is actually quite easy despite the number of sharps. Basically, the rule or the pattern for this key signature is your second valve stays down for every single note. There's one exception: high E's are open. You could play them on 1 and 2, but I think that actually makes the pattern slightly more complicated. If you use only 1 note on open fingering, that's the only time you lift your second valve up and you use that high E as your pivoting point. And usually when you're playing this scale, your high E is your destination note because it is the key note of the scale. So let's hear a bit of number 45. Watch my fingers, second valve stays down for every single note apart from that high E. So same thing as applies to the other ones. Short, accurate tonguing, nice coordination between your fingers and tongue. The pattern that swaps between 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 happens quite a few times, between low D sharp and E and G sharp and A. Also the pattern E, F sharp, G, that little pattern, swapping those 2 valves over. You'll get to know these patterns the more you practice the scale. You'll get to know where your pivot notes are in the scale, and by now you will have played through quite a few key signatures, and you might find that some of the key signatures with more sharps or flats are actually easier than some of the key signatures with less sharps or flats, just because the patterns of the valves are slightly easier, despite there being more sharps and flats to think about in your key signature. So a bit of number 46. Higher notes are always louder than the lower notes. Good taut tat T as you're moving up these scales. Nice smooth airflow and good tonguing and finger coordination. So our weekend triplet and semiquaver exercises is exercise 3 from both sections. So the triplet one, exercise 3 on page 132. Longer strings of triplets this time. Again, your tongue is every quaver. Ta 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 ta. Nice and smooth. Smooth airflow, nice consistent tonguing, and making sure the first of each group of triplets land perfectly with your tonguing. Nice fast valve movement. Again, use your metronome, start it off slow, increase the speed gradually, so you're not compromising on accuracy. So you'll find that the crotchets actually feel really long when you're playing at that speed. 2 quavers, ta-da-la, 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 ta. So 2 quavers if you're thinking in quavers, or ta-da-la, 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 ta, ta-da-la, 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 ta. Whichever way you've got your metronome clicking, whether it's every quaver or every crotchet, it really doesn't matter. Just make sure your crotchets are either with 2 quavers or 1 crotchet. So the semi-quaver exercise on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, this is actually one of the more difficult exercises. Lots of accidentals in number 3 on page 137. Quite a long exercise, and now our tonguing pattern has also changed from the previous 2 weeks. So we've got 3 slurred notes and 1 staccato note. It's actually the same tonguing pattern that we did on Tuesday with our slurs, but we've quadrupled the speed, so it's 4 times faster. Obviously, going straight in 4 times faster is going to be really tricky. Choose a metronome mark you feel comfortable at, play it nice and slowly, and then increase the speed over time. So you'll notice I was adding a little bit of musical shaping to the end of each phrase. Not possible if you're using the metronome. If you need to play 4-bar phrases, I'll put a little gap in there whilst you're practicing it. Then adding in the metronome, 4-bar phrases, that's when the pattern resets each time, doesn't it? Once you're really happy and you're really accurate, this one, if you wanted to do as I did, take your metronome off, but only when you can play it with the metronome, I'd advise taking it off. Then you can stretch the tempo at the end of each phrase, which gives you time to breathe. It's the same tonguing pattern all the way through, 3 slurred and then 1 staccato for every 4 semiquavers. So again, if you want to see all these exercises written down, just pause the last part of the video where the calendar appears and you can see the whole thing. Stay tuned for week 4 to finish off this 4-week calendar. I hope this is useful, and I hope these top tips for each week's worth of exercises are not getting too repetitive and me talking about evenness and coordination and accuracy. But at this stage, when you're between like grade 3 and grade 6, being accurate and getting your thought process into accuracy mode rather than playing too fast, or rather than trying to play as high or as low or as fast as you can. Accuracy will be your number 1 friend. Using your metronome, playing perfectly in time, making a note of your metronome marks so you can really easily see your progress and see your improvement on each of these areas of your technique. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon.